We came to Montgomery, to the Alabama Board of Pardons and Paroles, and spoke to the board spokesperson who says that Spencer's supervising officer had no idea Spencer left his court-mandated halfway house early. This is what I found out from Lauderdale County authorities. You know, the people who deal directly with Davis, they didn't know about the escape until 11:30 this morning. And remember, he escaped last night. You see that low shoulder sign, so that kind of gives you some context of what the road's like. I am literally stepping off the road right now, taking one step. Look at that. Already past that foot mark, and as you can see, so easy for tires to leave the road. This is 43-year-old Christopher Kilpatrick. This is the man that Lauderdale authorities are looking for. The review board cleared him of any wrongdoing. Now, we do know that he has been relieved from his duties as a police officer and will be performing administrative duties. But here's the thing. He was indicted by a grand jury, so obviously that group of citizens saw something differently. Less than 12 hours ago, the state signed off on a court order to dismiss the case with prejudice, meaning McDowell will never face charges for these crimes again. For him and his family, today is the day they've dreamed of for months. What you'll notice first is a lot of this dirt all over the parking lot because the demolition has already begun here. You can see all of the machinery behind me, and even in the parking lots as you're coming in today, they already have the road closed signs up, and it's not like anything you've ever thrown before. And I'll share more of my interview with Phil Sims, the Marshall County Sheriff-elect. Specifically, I asked him about the mess he's inheriting and how he plans to tackle it. Still a packed room of happy people. Congressman Mo Brooks just elected to his 5th term. This beautiful home in Huntsville needed a sidewalk in front and a concrete driveway. So the homeowner, who doesn't want to be identified, contacted a company she thought she could trust.
First of all, I put my request on Home Advisor for a new concrete driveway.
Home Advisor, an online company who matches people with contractors in their area, put her in touch with a man who made big promises.
And he said he's a Dome Concrete. He was wearing a Dome Concrete t-shirt.
When I looked on Home Advisor, it says Dome Concrete is no longer available. The Madison County License Department did confirm Montarius Collier has a license under Dome Concrete.
He brought his equipment the same day, and he said he's ready to go for work. I advanced him close to $10,000. He did some work the day when he took the check. The next day it was raining. So I thought it's raining, so he may not come back. After that, I kept calling him for 3 weeks, no response.
The woman who owns the new house was curious. She searched Montarius Collier's name online.
And when I pull up his name on Google, he has prior scams against his name.
He was supposed to dig this trench at least 18 inches deep, put gravel down, pea gravel, which he never brought.
This is Sylvia Self, a woman in Limestone County who also trusted Home Advisor to pair her with a contractor who could build a drain. WHNT News 19 featured her story in March 2018. 2 months before, she paid Collier, the same contractor, $1,200.
As you can see, we still have the trench. It's raining like crazy today. My yard is flooded. Nothing's been done.
Self's struggle goes beyond her backyard. She has an open case in Limestone County against Collier. It's for theft of property. Collier's free from jail pending his upcoming May trial. Even with a court date looming, he's apparently still working.
We never wrote a contract. He made excuses.
Both the homeowner and Sylvia say Home Advisor failed them from the start, referring them to Collier and providing no help now. I had some trouble with Home Advisor myself.
Tired of waiting on hold? We'll hold your space in line, and an advisor will call you back when it's your turn.
I'm a reporter with WHNT in Huntsville, Alabama. Home Advisor claims on their website they do criminal background checks. Montarius Collier is currently involved in an active case in Limestone County with Sylvia. He's also pleaded guilty to fraud charges, and judgments against him total tens of thousands of dollars to businesses and homeowners across Limestone and Madison counties. That's according to court records. I just need to do my due diligence. I'm still hung up on how Home Advisor paired Collier with these women. Collier doesn't have answers either. Hey, Montarius, it's Courtney with WH&T. How are you?
Not doing so well, I'm hearing from you.
They're tired of waiting for the work to be done.
I just want my money back.
Besides, he's made it clear you can't trust him.
She has a piece of my equipment held hostage.
Well, it's not held hostage. You left it there, right? You left it there instead of giving her a contract?
No, I got a contract on that job.
Can we write up a contract under Dome Concrete? Because we never wrote up a contract for my concrete driveway.
That's fine. When do you want to write it up?
You told her that you did, and then you said, well, we don't because I left my equipment, and she said, okay, let's schedule a time to do a contract. You said you would do a contract.
The contract never existed.
Would you say that you're a reliable contractor?
Man, this right here, the cases that you have, the people you talk to, is not even a percentage of the work I do.
There are 3 pages of theft, negotiating worthless instruments, theft by deception, theft of property first. Collier's response? What I've learned in dealing with Montarius Collier can be summed up in 2 words: buyer beware. Taking action for you, Courtney Crown, WH&T News 19. This man burglarized both Huntsville Utilities and Apon Pawn Shop on Blue Spring Road on May 1st, 2016. This is a picture of the man Huntsville police arrested, Stephen McDowell, and this is the perpetrator. The district attorney's office says both pictures show McDowell, but Stephen and his family point out the differences they think are obvious.
I looked at the picture, I handed it right back to him because it's like, how do you not know your own kid? Like, why do you need to study a photograph to see is this really my kid, you know? No, it's not him.
For example, they say Stephen's skin is lighter, his eyes closer together, his lips lighter colored and different sizes. They also point out this chickenpox scar on the left side of his face and his nose. Stephen's mother, Tam Jackson, says the noses aren't the same sizes nor structure.
I just want people to see that this isn't my baby.
Stephen's former landlord, with whom he has a rough relationship, pointed him out after the surveillance picture aired on the news. The police reports show there were fingerprints found, but analysis of them was not concluded in the evidence against Stephen. The video shows the subject, but they never checked his height. Investigators went to Stephen's mother, who said it wasn't her son. Then the police caught up with Stephen outside of Huntsville Hospital. His 2-year-old nephew was inside, on life support, dying. Police told him to show up for questioning. A lawyer told him not to. Officers issued a warrant for his arrest. Now, his mother is talking to WH&T News 19 to get her son's story out and argue his innocence.
There is really no evidence linking Stephen to anything. There's no evidence. Like, there's no fingerprints, there's no motive.
The surveillance video is the only significant piece of evidence the prosecutor's office turned over to the defense in discovery. Jackson says the crime doesn't match his character.
I couldn't put the two together, like my son doing a burglary. I couldn't, because that's not in his nature. He's not like that.
McDowell says he has no criminal history. A check of Alabama court records shows that as well. He serves in the U.S. Army Reserves, did a tour in Afghanistan, has a wife and a job. McDowell and his family haven't pinpointed where Stephen was during the time of the crimes, but they argue innocent people don't track their every move.
We're not criminals. We don't live our lives trying to figure out, hey, can you make sure you tell so-and-so I was over here at so-and-so a time? We just live.
When word of our story started getting around, things started changing for McDowell. 2 days ago, the district attorney's office decided not to prosecute, but Stephen would still have to wait 5 years for the charges on his record to go away. Less than 12 hours ago, the state signed off on a court order to dismiss the case with prejudice, meaning McDowell will never face charges for these crimes again. For him and his family, today is the day they've dreamed of for months. A triple murder in Gunnersville shocked this quaint town, the first killings in nearly a decade. The victims include a 7-year-old boy spending time with his great-grandmother.
Brutally murdered. Easily been anybody down here. That's pretty tough.
Jimmy O'Neill Spencer is the man police hold responsible for the July 13th triple murder. The state's Board of Pardons and Paroles didn't think he needed to spend more time in prison, so they let him out early. Then, Spencer didn't think he needed to stay at his court-mandated halfway house. We came to Montgomery, to the Alabama Board of Pardons and Paroles, and spoke to the board spokesperson who says that Spencer's supervising officer had no idea Spencer left his court-mandated halfway house early.
Whenever he got arrested in Guntersville, that's when it came to the realization that he was not living at the halfway house. That is when it came to our attention.
Spencer's case file included multiple prison escapes, a prison assault, and a burglary attempt that resulted in him getting shot.
That information is available to the board.
Why was he able to be paroled, though?
I can't tell you what goes on in the board member's mind. I mean, they're given the information, they're presented the information. If they didn't have a lot of any issues over the past dozen or so years or however long, a lot of times they will give a person the benefit of the doubt.
The board sent him to a halfway house in Birmingham, then he left. Again, how could this have happened?
Anybody that we supervise, they're mandated contacts that they're supposed to make, and in those contacts are home visits, employment checks, things along those lines.
The board says Spencer was checking in. He just wasn't telling the truth.
He was still reporting, he was still listing the address, so we thought he was still where he was. Didn't raise any flags at the time.
Spencer came out of prison with multiple burglary and escape convictions. Authorities say he used his freedom to get into more trouble. A drug-related arrest in Etowah County, a run-in with police at Guntersville State Park. Still, the board didn't realize he wasn't at a halfway house in Birmingham until
Cases do go wrong. People do get hurt.
For the people of Alabama, that's just not good enough. Taking action, Courtney Crown, WHNT News 19.